Dana, Macquarie is initiating coverage here, initiating it at a buy. What is their argument that Tesla can hit profitability and that this is indeed a good buy right now?
Well, they think that Tesla has a really strong brand and a strong value proposition. They think they could be profitable in the second half of the year, thanks not just to the sale of cars, but to ZEV credits here in California. And they also feel like Tesla still has a big opportunity in the energy storage market, which is a part of the business that we rarely get to talk about. But Tesla does sell batteries to utilities, and they feel like that's a big growth market for them.
Ivan, do you share Macquarie's optimism here?
Yes, I do. First of all, the ruling that Elon got a few weeks ago was an incredible positive and removed a huge overhang of concern. Second is the third quarter deliveries of I think about 81,000 cars was also very promising. So I think that other than Elon's comment about the SEC as far as the short seller enrichment committee, he does love to kick the beehive, but I think that a lot of negative concerns have been lifted from the stock.
Well, and that's a big but, Dana. The judge who's overseeing this settlement still has to decide whether indeed it will be okayed, and Elon poking the beehive, calling the SEC the Short Seller Enrichment Commission, probably doesn't earn him a lot of goodwill.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the judge does. My understanding is that both the SEC and Musk/Tesla have to kind of turn in the paperwork signing off on the agreement by Thursday. Then she has to sign off on it, but she doesn't have to sign off on it on Thursday. She can mull it over. So that's still like a procedural hurdle that everyone has to go over. And yeah, I mean, poking the SEC was not considered to be a particularly wise move. The shares were rattled, and so you had the shares kind of fall on that. Now they're up again on this positive coverage by the new analyst.
Meantime, Ivan, the latest Model 3 numbers were good. We did not get a forecast for the quarter. However, do you have a concern that Tesla will not be able to sustain the pace of Model 3 production that it's been able to demonstrate over the last few weeks, throwing everything at the wall?
No, I think that the pace will probably get a little better. The demand is still there. The car is incredible. They have an incredible niche and an incredible fan base. So I think that as they gradually increase production, the company will continue to do better.
Dana, talk to us a little bit about what we're expecting, with earnings coming up, what we know and what we don't know about Model 3 production.
Well, they haven't given a forecast for how many cars they expect to make in the fourth quarter, which is odd because the whole premise of the company is that they're going to mass produce this car and eventually make a $35,000 version, which is not in production yet. So I feel like that's still a big question for investors. The whole premise of the Model 3 was that it was going to be mass market and start at $35,000, and that car is not in production. They're just making the higher end models. So when are we going to see that car, and how many people who are waiting for the Model 3 want that lower priced version?
So, Ivan, would you say it's too soon to talk about a true Tesla turnaround? We know the shares have been suffering, partly as a result of this SEC situation and Elon Musk's behavior. But do you think that this is the beginning of a turn for the better, or is it too soon to tell?
I think it's somewhat a turn for the better. Elon is always going to be the way he is, so I don't think that trying to change him will be a good use of energy. But the car continues to sell. The demand pipeline for the Model 3 continues to increase. The base Model 3 does start at 35, but the ones they are producing have the bigger battery, have the autopilot, have a number of other features. And that is usually the case even with cars that start at 35. Usually when you add a number of features that you want, like the glass roof and things like that, they're probably going to sell for around 45 to 55, depending on the features. But I think the car represents a lot of value for the performance, and the gas savings is also tremendous. And I believe some sort of tax credit will be in existence for some time, because it is almost in everybody's best interest that there are more electric cars on the road. It reduces pollution, carbon footprint, and dependence on foreign oil. So I think that there's a lot of wind behind them right now. They get a lot of good tailwinds.
Meantime, Dana, the settlement with the SEC requires that Musk step aside as chairman. They're going to be looking for a new chairman, 2 new independent board directors. What's the status of that?
Yeah, we don't know if Tesla has actively begun searching, if they've hired a search firm, but they're on a deadline. I mean, Elon has got to step down as chairman within 45 days, and that's like putting you at mid-November. And then they need to hire 2 new independent directors within 90 days. So they've got a very busy fall. A lot of names have been bandied about, but we don't have any insight as to how serious those candidates are.
Ivan, any names you've heard that you like and think are also realistic?
I have not heard any specific names, but I think a lot of people would be excited at the opportunity to join Tesla because it is not only a car company, it is an energy company. The battery storage opportunities are big. I think also the solar panels are big. And there's more to come. They have the semi-truck, which is another game changer. They have the Model Y crossover SUV coming. They also have that Roadster. So there's a lot in the pipeline for the company, and I think a lot of people wouldn't mind being a part of it.